Hi everyone, welcome to my channel International Storyteller. In this channel you will find true horror stories worldwide. These stories are for entertainment purposes only. In this video, I will tell you the true story of the film, called The Exorcism of Emily Rose. The horrifying events of the 2005 film, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, were not entirely fictional, but rather based on the actual experiences of a German girl named Anneliese Michel. Anneliese Michel was born in 1952 in Bavaria, a state in the southeast part of Germany. Anneliese Michel was raised by a devoutly Roman Catholic family. When she was a child, she had a happy and innocent life. But after the age of 16, she experienced a seizure and was diagnosed with psychosis caused by temporal lobe epilepsy. Epilepsy is a central nervous system disorder in which brain activity becomes abnormal, causing seizures or periods of unusual behavior, sensations, and sometimes loss of awareness. Shortly thereafter, she was diagnosed with depression and was treated by a psychiatric hospital. Though Anneliese Michel did not remember the event and her friends, Anneliese Michel's family said she was in a mentally confused state. A year later, Anneliese Michel experienced a similar occurrence, where she woke up in a mentally confused state. Her body also went through a series of convulsions, causing her body to shake uncontrollably. In June 1970, Anneliese Michel visited a neurologist who diagnosed her with temporal lobe epilepsy, a disorder that causes seizures, loss of memory, and hearing voice and hallucinations. After her diagnosis, Anneliese Michel began taking medication for her epilepsy and was prescribed anti-convulsion drugs for the first time, including Dilantin, which did not solve the problem. She began describing seeing devil faces at various times of the day. That same month, she was prescribed another drug, Alept, which is similar to chlorpromazine and is used in the treatment of various psychoses, including schizophrenia, disturbed behavior, and delusions. However, the drugs given to her actually failed to help her, and the medications didn't seem to curb her increasingly erratic behavior, and as the year progressed, her condition began to deteriorate. By 1973, she suffered from depression and began hallucinating while praying. She began to see the face of the devil wherever she went and said she heard demons whispering in her ears. She could no longer look at the pictures of saints or Jesus because they sparkled so immensely that she could not stand it. She had become intolerant of various religious objects and complained about hearing voices telling her that she was damned and would rot in hell. Anneliese Michel worsened physically and displayed aggression, self-injury, drank her own urine, and ate insects. Her condition worsened despite medication, and she started displaying symptoms of suicidal ideation. After taking psychiatric medications for 5 years and failing to improve her symptoms, Anneliese Michel's family became convinced that she was possessed by a demon. As a result, her family began to look for help outside of the traditional medical field. So, her family appealed to the Catholic Church for an exorcism. Her family met a priest called Ernst Alt. The priest, Ernst Alt, on seeing Anneliese Michel's deteriorating condition, declared that she didn't look like a person having epilepsy or mental disorder. Priest Ernst Alt believed she was suffering from demonic possession and urged the local bishop to allow an exorcism on her. At first the local bishop rejected it. But after much hesitation, in September 1975, Bishop Joseph Stangl granted permission to the priest named Arnold Renz to exorcise Anneliese Michel, but ordered total secrecy. The priest, Arnold Renz, performed the first session of exorcism on September 24, 1975. Over the next 10 months, following the bishop's approval of Anneliese Michel's exorcism, priest Arnold Renz conducted a total of 67 exorcisms, lasting up to 4 hours, on the young woman. Through these sessions, Anneliese Michel revealed that she was possessed by 6 demons: Lucifer, Cain, Judas Iscariot, Adolf Hitler, Nero, and Fleischmann. All these spirits would use Anneliese Michel's body as a medium to communicate from her mouth with a low growl. The 6 demons argued with each other, with Cain saying, "People are stupid as pigs. They think it's all over after death." It goes on, and Judas Iscariot declares Hitler to be nothing more than a big mouth with no real say in hell. Throughout these exorcism sessions, Anneliese Michel broke her bones and ripped the tendons in her knees from continually kneeling in prayer. Over a period of 10 months, Anneliese Michel was frequently restrained so the priests could conduct exorcism rites. At this point, her parents stopped consulting doctors at her request and relied solely on the exorcism rites. She slowly stopped eating, and on July 1, 1976, Anneliese Michel died in her home. When she died, she was just 23 years old. The autopsy report states the cause of death as malnutrition and dehydration resulting from nearly a year in a semi-starved state while the rites of exorcism were performed. When she died, she weighed only 30 kilograms or 68 pounds and had broken knees from constant bending to the ground. She was unable to move without assistance and was reported to have contracted pneumonia. After her death, Anneliese Michel's story became a national sensation in Germany. After an investigation, the state prosecutor maintained that Anneliese Michel's death could have been prevented even 1 week before she died. So her parents and the two priests, Ernst Alt and Arnold Wren, who conducted the exorcism, were charged with negligent homicide. The trial started on March 30, 1978 in the district court and drew intense interest. Before the court, doctors testified that Anneliese Michel was not possessed, stating that this was a psychological effect because of her strict religious upbringing and her epilepsy. The defense lawyer said that the exorcism was legal and that the German constitution protected citizens in the unrestricted exercise of their religious beliefs. The defense played tapes recorded at the exorcism sessions, sometimes featuring what was claimed to be demons arguing, to assert their claim that Anneliese Michel was possessed. The priests said that the demons identified themselves as Lucifer, Cain, Judas Iscariot, Hitler, Nero, and Fleischmann. They further said that she was finally freed because of the exorcism just before her death. The bishop said that he was not aware of her alarming health condition when he approved of the exorcism and did not testify. The court charged Anneliese Michel's parents and priests Ernst Alt and Arnold Wren with negligent homicide. The two priests were found guilty of manslaughter resulting from negligence and were sentenced to 6 months in jail, which was later suspended, and 3 years of probation. The parents were exempted from any punishment as they had suffered enough, which is a criteria for sentencing in German law. After 2 years, the Catholic Church issued an apology to the public, claiming that Anneliese Michel was not possessed by a demon and that her death was caused by epilepsy or a mental disorder, and that the case of the deceased Anneliese Michel was closed. But on June 6, 2013, a fire broke out in the house where Anneliese Michel lived. The local police said it was done by some criminal, although some locals believe that the fire broke out in the house was caused by the exorcism case of Anneliese Michel.